Hello. Hi, John Wilson. How are you today, brother?
Good afternoon there, Wyatt. I'm good. Thank you very much for another invitation to come on your show and have a chat.
Mate, I've got to tell you, I love Popeye in the background.
Yes, yes, I'm trying to look a little bit more updated, mate. I mean, look, for those who want to know, um, my boat and I went through that flood 2 years ago, and I got smashed, mate. I got really, really worked over during that flood. I spent 15 days all through the whole flood on anchor, and my boat. I wish I could take a few months off doing what I'm doing so I can concentrate on my boat and try and get a lot of maintenance and repairs done. But what I'm trying to do today is trying to use a little bit of back screen technology, and I hope it's a little bit better presentation to you and your
It's,
audience.
I've got to tell you, it's looking really good. It's looking really good, John. All right. Well, it's a technology update, and that leads us all into this website that you are building, and I believe it's going to be called nationalstrikeaustralia.org. Will be the address when that's all up and running. So
Yes, yes.
I'm going to
Look,
hand the floor. I'm going to hand the floor over to you so you can explain what the website, what the features of the website are, and how it's going to work, and all of that sort of good stuff.
Okay. Look, thanks, White. Look, when we spoke yesterday, we spoke of events that were outside of our control. They were forecasted by me because I just didn't think we were going to get through a national vote without being torpedoed, without being sabotaged, And
Yeah, yeah,
so,
you're right.
yeah, and in anticipation for that, i.e., that we had to get the organizational stuff off social media and off other third party hosters and get it under control. I commissioned a service agreement with a great IT firm, a trustworthy IT firm, to build a new web page, and at the back of the web page with a like a customer management package that will allow a whole range of functions to be done in terms of organising this national strike. Okay, so that's where we're now up to. Um, uh, I spoke to the IT team this morning, and they are on track. By the end of this week, it is my expectation that the web page will go live, and then by the end of the following week, that all of our features, all of our back end program and customer service features will get fully enacted. They will come on live, okay? And we'll be able to start doing some great things. Now, what that means, let me just put this out there for all of your audience. Look, everyone out there, I think we have demonstrated, all of us national strikers, if I can just call you that, right? All of us national strikers, I think we have demonstrated that there is a big appetite to pursue a national strike here in Australia to remove this belligerent occupancy, right? For the safety of our children and for the safety of our nation, we have to remove this belligerent occupancy. And a national strike has got a lot of support. Now, yes, it had support directly, well over 10,000 before they tore down the and stopped the vote. Okay, but there were thousands more that also were in support through a whole lot of other surveys and other informal votes that were taking all around the nation. And there were a hell of a lot more, even more, who were prevented from even being able to hear the argument, see the motion itself, or told anything about it. They were denied access. Okay. So on that basis, okay, it's my intention that I intend to, not yet, but I intend to declare the motion carried, and that we are moving into a national strike strategy. Okay, that's my intention, and I'm hoping to do that once I get the web page up online and other pieces in play. All right. Now, we need as a movement, because this is a populist movement, everybody. We need a place to gather and to organise. Okay, we need our own place to which we can't be interfered with, and we can organise ourselves. Now, this is where the new website and this new package, right, comes into play. Now, let me give you an example, folks. Right, look. The first strike action is going to be against rates, the payment of rates. I've had so much overwhelming feedback and support to pursue that as our first strike action. That is what we are now gearing up for. Now we need a place to host, right? To host not just social media, because that can be got at, right? But we need a place to host securely all of these templates, all of these letters, all of these pieces of flyers and information sheets and so on. Right, we need our own place to put all this, that the ordinary person out there can go to and grab a copy of, okay, and use it, right? And also our own educational interviews, right? Okay. When we do going forward, when we do interviews, right, and instructional interviews, right, they'll be hosted on the web page cloud server. So we will host all of our own stuff, and it'll be secure. Now, your name and email addresses and so on, right? What we've just experienced, despite having a written service contract in place, and despite having my IT people advise me in writing this morning that they've gone over this contract, and they've said to me this. They've said, John, that every single thing that we have seen you do and see what you've said, right, and everything you've posted, right, okay, you have not violated one single term in that service contract. You've done nothing wrong, nothing for them to shut it down and do what they've did to you, right? Okay, so make that clear to your audience out there, right? This was not initiated by Como, John. I've tried to play this with a straight bat, and all I've done is put a vote out there. That's all I've done. I want to participate in democracy, and I'm asking my Australian brothers and sisters to do the same. That's all. That's all I have done, and that's all that 10,000 plus people have done. Nothing else, right? So now we need our own place to gather. We need our own place to know that our personal information is secure. Now, I'm still chasing this other information, ladies and gentlemen. We are really gonna pursue this. I want everyone to know that, right? But
sorry to interrupt.
When you come to our new webpage, give us it by the end of this week. But when you come there, and if we asked you, could you give us your details? I want everyone to be rest assured. This time, it's going to be locked away airtight, okay? No one is going to have access to your details except for me, and you have my absolute word and security steps that are being taken to protect it, okay?
Yeah, John, your IT people, when they were going through this contract, were they able to say anything about what was going on with the hosting site for that motion, and whether they were in breach of any part of the agreement? Because if you weren't, somebody was. It would logically stand, wouldn't it?
Look. That they are not in a position to advise legally, right? That's a lawyer question, right? What they looked at it like a hosting company. They put themselves in a hosting company position, and I was their client. And they looked at the service agreement and they said, well, if you were one of our clients, John, you haven't breached anything in that service agreement to warrant what's been done to you.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Insofar as had they done it, that's a lawyer's question, and they're not in a position to advise on that.
Yeah. All right. No, I was just wondering from that perspective, because certain contracts are very, very messy, very, very fine print sort of stuff, and
Look.
but the fact that they gave you your money back may negate their responsibility to some degree, I guess. But
look, let me just say this. Let me just say this, right? Look, now I've copped, and I'm open for this, right? I've copped a lot of shit from trolls, right? About oh, this is a data harvesting exercise by Como John, all this sort of nonsense, right? And let me just say this. Look, any fault that I've had trying to get this vote up using this paid service. I paid money for this, right? Okay, to make sure that we had a contract, right? Okay. Now, for anyone that wants to, make smears on all of this, I just say to you, what about the other 1,000 petitions that you've already seen and signed about half of them, 500 of them, right? What about all of them? You get me? Because nothing that I've done, nothing that I've done, right, is unique. Nothing that I've done is somehow out of the ordinary here, folks. I mean, I've tried to be transparent up front, and as I've said, I'm not willing to do anything, unless the Australian people authorise it, because that's the world we are now living in. That's it. We are moving from the old world of Vatican and all this maritime law and all this deception and that. But we're moving to a new law where full disclosure, be upfront, straight talk, say what you mean,
well, if you and to that point, if you are on the Queensland electoral roll, all of your information is held by the Chinese.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And now with this new the Australian ID laws, you put in anything to either Centrelink or any government agency is shared with all of the other agencies, including a passport. They've got all of your information. Did you ask for that? Probably not.
Yeah.
But this is what's happening. So these claims of data mining and all of this sort of the nonsense by the trolls is just the trolls being trolls, and there's an old don't feed the trolls.
Look, I just make this commitment that as soon as we get our country back under constitutional law and we have our children safe as per the motion, as soon as that happens, right, all data, everything out there that I have, mate, is going to be destroyed. I don't want it. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to profit from it. I have no desire for any of that stuff. And in the meantime, I'm going to try my best to keep third parties of any descriptions to keep their hands off Wyatt.
Well, and you're on the record of saying that your job is to bring about the end of this belligerent occupation and to allow the people at that point to make to be self-determining as to what they want afterwards. Once this strike is over, you're out of it, and you're out of the picture. You've done your part. Then it's up to everybody else in the country. And I mean that, the people are saying, well, you've got to have a plan for what happens afterwards. No, that's up to the people. So the people, to the people, I say, start thinking about what you want at the end of all of this, because this is going to happen one way or another. And as I said, we need smart people and serious people to address the serious problems that are facing.
Right. Look. What we are pursuing, and this is going to be the outcome. This is going to be the outcome. Okay. Right. Look. Now, this is a global enemy, a global enemy. It's a global. We are all in the same war fight, in the same power bases. Okay, all over the world. Okay, now
Yeah.
they are losing their grip all around the world. Now, in some countries, right, they have a tighter grip than in other countries, right? But they are losing their grip, as indeed they will lose their grip here in Australia. It's going to happen. Now, what I'm proposing, what I'm putting out there, right, is let's make it happen. Let's just not wait for the events to just, right. Let's go out and actually peacefully take our country off them. Right? They are a religion and occupation. Let's simply go out and take it off them. Let's shorten it. Because the longer they have their claws dug deep into this nation, right, the longer they hold this hostage, our body count keeps going up. More and more people keep getting hurt, and I want to
Oh,
stop that. I
yeah.
want to stop that. Now, look, these people, right, their whole thinking now, because they're psychopaths, right, because they are psychopaths, it's even when they know they're going to lose, because they're so sick, these monsters, right, they want to take as many as they can with us, right? I mean, they are loopy, kooky, freaky, psychopathic people we are dealing with here, Wyatt. They
Exactly.
are a death cult. They're a death cult, and they're scary shit, So
John, these people,
not
John,
everyone's got the stomach for this. Not everyone's got the stomach to stand up to such a death cult. And I understand that. And the only way you can successfully do it, according to all of my Christian scripture friends, you can only do that by putting the full armor of God on and going to war with them. And no, don't compromise with them. You've got to defeat them. You can't negotiate with them. You can't go in there and bloody cut deals with these monsters, right? This belligerent occupation, at its very heart, has very evil intent, and I really mean that. This is not a political war. It's not. This is good versus evil. Why? Good versus evil,
a
and and
hundred
and
percent, a
and
hundred
the
percent.
prize in this are our children.
Yes, and like it's David and Goliath all over again, and David had to pick up a stone. That's and
Yeah,
that's where we are.
we have the whole world on fire here, White. We've got the whole world. It doesn't matter whether it's in Europe, the many countries that make up Europe. It doesn't matter whether it's flyover America or Brazil or Argentina. I mean, the whole world is on fire protesting, trying to shake off this belligerent occupation. Now, it might have different shapes. It might have different descriptions. It might have different bloody whatever, but it's the same occupation all over the world. And the whole world is trying to shake it off. What are we doing here in Australia? We are doing almost nothing to resist it. And I'm saying that's not an accident. I'm saying that is engineered. And why is it engineered? Is because there is a big fracture right through the freedom movement here in Australia, a big fracture line, and it's now glaringly obvious which side people are on. Either you want to defeat and remove this belligerent occupation, and there's no middle ground with it, right? Either you want to do that, or you support it, or you're prepared to live with it, right? That's it. And there are some people in this bloody movement that want to do agreements, that want to negotiate with this belligerent occupation, that want to coexist with it, even, right? And all the rest of us, right? The vast bulk of the population, we continue to pick up the freight and pay for all of this. It's our sacrifice that these people, they live and feed off our misery. That's what they do, and it's about
Oh,
time
yeah,
that
well, that's what
cycle.
they've been doing. That's what they've been doing for centuries. And the thing is, that we are truly at the point of all or nothing. And
Yes.
I've been looking at things that have been happening, as you know, with the intel and whatnot like that. You've got Penny Wong and Albanese now being referred to the International Court of Justice over genocide and war crimes because of their support of the Israeli war and in Gaza and of course with Ukraine. So the wheels are beginning to fall off. They know they're beginning to fall off, but they're scared. And this strike action will be the thing that will deliver the death blow to the cabal in Australia. Now, insofar as the protests of the farmers in Europe and whatnot like that, they have had success. We have to understand in Australia, we can't do that sort of thing because of the logistical problems with that, because, the farmers are 100, 200 miles, 300 miles from the coast. It's just not possible. In Europe, it is because the countries are so small. I mean, the country of England fits into Queensland 8 times. That's just to give you an idea of the size of Queensland. Now, I've heard, I've made you aware last night by telephone, that there were some truckies who were going to stop driving. They're just going to pull over on the side of the road for 3 to 5 days. And they're saying that this could be happening. Now, I don't have any more information on that other than to say that it seems to be Queensland, but, there's nothing or nobody saying anything about it being national. But that by itself, stopping deliveries from Coles and Woolworths and all of this, it's going to wreak a bit of havoc, and the revenue that's coming in, being brought in by Coles, Woolworths, and the tax revenue for the government is going to be severely affected for that period of time. What are your thoughts on that idea?
Look, I expect the strike to roll out like this, White. So listen closely, okay? I expect that there's going to be certain strike elements or certain strike actions that, right, will need to be communicated and will need to be coordinated and will need to be supported centrally, right, i.e. through the website, through our documents, and through that sort of support mechanism, okay? Now, I expect that to occur, okay? But I also expect that what will happen is that the national strikers, we are going to inspire and trigger other unthought of or unplanned for strike actions, right?
Wildcat strikes.
Yeah. And now, of which we will have no control, right? Okay. I mean, I will gather the evidence and report on it, right? But these will be local, organic strikes that will take place in amongst groups of workers or at choke points at certain areas, and it may not even be for exactly the same reasons that our national motion calls for. I'm serious. There is a lot of people out there who are really, really angry at a whole range of things, and not all of them may be thinking and connecting a belligerent occupation to those issues that they're dealing with, but they're still dealing with the problems. Now we have a lot of angry Australians out there. Now,
we sure do.
Again, I say that my fear is that if we don't offer these angry Australians a peaceful way of expressing that anger, then it is going to explode and it will become unsafe. So for all those people who are saying a strike is going to be unsafe for this nation, I say it's the opposite. I say it is what is desperately needed to allow people to express their anger and this sense of betrayal that's now building. It hasn't fully soaked through the Australian public yet, but it is wide. And this anger is going to keep building. And the way, I believe, the best way to manage that anger and to express that anger is peacefully through a strike, instead of through other emotional, highly emotional ways. That is coming. We are going to be looking at this.
Well,
So
well, John, that's exactly right, because we've tried writing letters, we've tried signing petitions, we've tried taking them on in the courts. We have found no remedy.
yes,
Lawful rebellion was put in, and the that was ignored, and we got no remedy from that. So now, we have two options left, and the first option and the only option that really Australia wants or can actually do without causing harm to people is a national strike, because because the only other option, as Dick Yardley said, is Rule 303. We don't have the capabilities of it, and that would just rain absolute terror on the people by this belligerent occupancy. No, they are worried. They are scared of you. They are scared of the people, because we are uniting in this cause. And that truckies, if they're going to do this, they have my 100% support. And if they, and it, whether sanctioned by the national strike or not, we will lend. I'm sure that you would lend them any support that they are looking for. And I got to tell you, I'm very, very happy that other people, for whatever reason, are doing these things themselves, because there is, as I say, a very serious problem in this country, like other countries, and we need some very, very serious people to take up the mantle and carry it forward with the full armor of God, as you said, for
yep,
protection.
yep.
But
Well,
David had to pick up the stone. He truly did.
these are evil, evil people at the center, at the heart of this belligerent occupation.
Yes.
They really, really are wide,
Yeah.
and they are satanic, and they have a real kooky, evil thing for children. I'm not going to go into any of the
Oh, they're sick.
unspeakable.
They're very sick people.
People know what they do. People now know what they do. We didn't know it 5 or 10 years ago, but we now know it, and we've got evidence of all of it. Now, look, they're all being blackmailed. They're all being, they're all being bribed and blackmailed and threatened, and all this to maintain this belligerent occupation, right? And they have the knee on the back of our neck. We have to get rid of it. I cannot keep protesting about one issue after another, after another, after another, after another. It's no end to them. There's no end to them. The only way you're going to stop it is to get rid of this belligerent occupation. That's it. And as long as they're there, they are just going to keep going on and on and on with it. Now, the fracture line, the fracture line here in Australia is that we have us, all of us here. Then on top of us, we have a belligerent occupation. But out to one side, we've got a group of Australians who feed. They make a good living. They party on. They feed off this belligerent occupation. They profiteer from it, and they do very well out of it. And it's our misery. The belligerent occupation causes all of our misery, right, amongst the millions and millions of ordinary Australians. And then you've got these bastards who feed off our misery. I mean, the Bar Association, all these lawyers, mate, all they ever do is bleed us dry. It doesn't matter what jurisdiction, whether it's the family court or the magistrates or anywhere else. All they do is bleed us dry. Okay, and if it's not the lawyers, then you got the doctors, and if it's not the doctors, then you've got the politicians taxing the shit out of it. If it's not the politicians, on and on and on
Oh
it
yeah.
goes.
Oh,
Now
it's
we've got
it's
no more
they're
left to
they're
give anymore. What? There's no
they're,
more left.
Yep, the system of corrupt is so deep and wide, it staggers the mind. Um,
Yes,
and
they are
they do, as you
people.
say, it is good versus evil. And these people are sick. As Q said, these people are sick.
Yes,
And we have to get rid of them. Now, when we get rid of them, or, when the only option they're going to be given is to surrender, and they will volunteer to go into the wellness camps that they built for us until they can be tribunaled, or held in prisons until they can be tribunaled.
yeah,
It's been talk, that we should, if any of them get, we should hunt them down and stuff like that. That is not what this strike, or what this is all about by the people. We're coming from a peace position, a position of love, love, light, and good. And good does not go hunting down people. And the thing is, they will be given a chance to surrender. If they don't want to surrender, well, the chips will fall where they may. But such talk is dangerous. And I pulled somebody up on your channel about it last night.
right. Listen. Stop making a big deal out of it, mate. Because
Uh,
again, a lot of emotion out there. Just tell people to quieten down. The strike has a motion. It's
yeah,
focus. That's it. It
yeah.
has no other purpose. We are
I know,
not
John.
hunting.
I
We're
get
not
that.
hunting.
I'm
You know.
just saying that, because the national
I
strike
get
is being so
Yeah,
closely
look,
monitored.
we are going to be infiltrated, mate. You're going to have people come into this national strike infiltrated. They're going to say, "Oh yeah, I love Commo John. He's a great guy. Let's go and murder some cops." That's what's going to happen here. It's going to happen, right? We are going to have all sorts of shit we're going to have to deal with. This strike is not going to be smooth, mate. It's going to get lumpy, and it may, depending on the resistance that's being thrown up, it may get ugly. It may get ugly. But we are going to try. We're going to try, right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to try to keep everything organised
Yeah,
and not let it become chaos. Our enemies, you've got to understand, the moment I call for this national strike, the Freemasons' immediate plan will be from out of chaos, right? Right, order. We provide order out of chaos. They want chaos, ladies and gentlemen. They want chaos. That's how Freemasons operate large social change movements, right? Now, this exercise is simply a taking of custody. I want everyone to get prepared, get your heads and start training yourselves on taking custody of your own country back, because that's what's needed. We've all got to grow up. We've all outsourced all of this sort of stuff to third parties and contracted it out to others. Not anymore. We have to take responsibility for the asset that's known as Australia. And we've got to start wrapping our minds around this. And, what we are seeing is people wanting to carve up the asset. They want to carve it up, right? Even before we've got it. You've got profiteers, you've got greedy people in amongst our midst that want to make money or profit out of this transition back from
John.
belligerent occupancy back to our custody. You
John,
know,
John, the point I was trying to make, and fumbling to do it, was just that we have to be ever vigilant of this sort of behaviour. With 3 minutes, or less than a minute and a half to go, I just want to say thank you for sharing the information that you've got. Thank you for the good work that you're doing for Australia, and the people who are supporting the strike. I want to thank all of those too, because without the support of the people, this whole movement would have no power, no authority, nothing. But we do need to consider the future, as John says, and we do need to understand that we are in a war between good and evil, and
yeah.
it's
Right.
our responsibility as Christian people to
Right. We've got this option. Okay. Look, I can manage a national strike. If people just want a modest well-managed national strike, I can do that. I can do that, right? Or this can be the biggest message that the Australian people have ever sent to the power bases of this country ever. Now, it's
Yeah.
not going to take much to morph from a well-managed, modest event
We're
into
almost out of time. We got less than a
something
minute. Yeah. Yeah,
up
no,
to you.
that's right, John. All right. Well, look, thank you again for coming on and being interviewed. And I find the information that you have to be very good. And I think as time progresses, once that website is up, that information is going to be